So when it finishes loading,
Yeah,
immediately it finishes showing that it's loading.
it has
Just
finished.
quickly start sharing. It has finished. Go to that share screen. You see one arrow at the under there. The entire screen. Click on that thing. No, click on it first before it's oh yeah, share. So your entire screen now is showing. This time it's showing you. It will
Okay.
show you on your showing one kind, but just so that your screen is showing.
Okay.
But it will take time before it show those people because that was what I messed me up. I went to share my screen immediately when they are already on live message addressing them. I went
Oh.
to now go and share my screen. But now that you're doing it like it's perfect. Before they now gather now inside the call, they would have been your screen would have been showing. If it's not showing, just let them to exercise question to come up just like you did for the front end person. So let me give them
Okay, you just try and check if you can see my screen. You should log in now. You should use the link.
I would do that, but let me give them the link now. Abby, let me try it. So I'm going to end this call now. Just stay on hold and
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Can you hear me? Good day. You're welcome, Daniel. Daniel, can you hear me? If you can hear me, please indicate. Okay, welcome everyone. Yeah, welcome. Good day, Peculiar. Please, can you see my screen? Where is everyone? Okay, okay. Thank you, Bridget. Sorry, I can't pronounce your names clearly, but I guess you're being from another location, which is not Nigeria. Um, as everyone is still joining, I think we'll still have more people to join. Let's say I give 7 minutes. 7 minutes should be enough because the link was just passed to the group just recently. So you would have to wait for others to join so we can start. Yeah, welcome everyone. Okay, welcome Victoria. Welcome everyone. Um, you're welcome. You're welcome to the backend track of Spread Africa Bootcamp. Um, yeah, others are still joining. So on this particular section, I will be taking you people on the backend aspect of the bootcamp. So I think we'll have 5 more minutes so we can kickstart. Hope I am audible enough. Please indicate if clear. Okay, thank you so much. So please, for the ones who are who are here already, just indicate from where you're viewing from, what country you're viewing from. I would love to know what African country you're viewing from. Please, you can use the chat board. Okay, okay. Wow. Okay, we have people from Zambia. You're welcome. You're welcome. People from Nigeria, you're welcome. I'm also in Nigeria, and I am actually speaking from Jos, Plateau State. Okay, we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to kickstart. Please, can I have just a minute? Let me have a time. Let me say that this thing. That, this master, I didn't here to taste that. You need to now that this thing there. This thing there goes the local set goes. The okay. Um, you're welcome, everyone. I'm happy to have you all here. I am Promise by name, but I would love to be called Chiboy. Okay. We've had our first section this morning, which is on the front end track, and this is the second section, which is the back end track, which I will be taking you all. So I am excited to have you all here, and you're welcome again. Hope I'm clear. Hope I can. So everyone is hearing me clearly. Okay. So in order for us to enjoy this section, I would want it to be more interactive. Um, it's going to be more interactive and practical because back end is unlike front end development. Back end development has to do with the aspect where where you have to. So, unlike front end development, back end has to do with showing the workings, show how the interactions happens, how um, you work with servers. So first of all, um, I would love to explain these things in a layman understanding, give the differences between back end and front end, so we can actually get the conceptual view of what back end actually entails or what back end looks like. So back end development is, for example, let's say a car. Back end development is the engine of a car. Let's say back end is the engine of a car, while the steering and the tires of a car is actually the front end. Reason why I use this example is backend development is that part of software engineering where you don't get to where users don't get to interact with applications. Why front end development is the client side where users get to interact with the application itself. For example, let's let's use our Facebook, for example. Let's say when a user reacts on a post, you can actually react on a post, you can actually like a post, comment on a post. Those things are things that happen on the client side. Those are front end elements. Those are the things these are the things you can do on the front end. When you comment on somebody's post, these are client side implementation. Let me use that word. So, but on the back end side, it is what happens behind the scene. Yeah, let's say, yeah, behind the scene. These are the things that users don't get to interact with. These are the things that happens under the hood. So I would be sharing. Sorry guys, I didn't really prepare a slide. I was actually on a transit. I just got back this morning, so I actually had something I have prepared. So what is back end? Back end development. Hope you can see my screen. Please indicate if, because I just switched to this browser. Hope you can see my screen. So backend development involves writing code that runs on the server and is responsible for handling tasks such as data storage, retrieval, and processing. It's like the brain of the web application, managing everything that happens behind the scenes. Backend development is a crucial aspect of software engineering that focuses on building logic and functionality that powers application. So what this is actually saying is, after the whole thing that happened on the front end, it is the back end development that actually compiles those things and make the web application to function. So on a more human understanding, back end development is the engine that actually powers an application. Your web application, your mobile application, it is the back end that does it. The back end is actually the environment that compiles, that stores data, that manages this data, does all those brain work, those logic that actually happens when you type the calculator, you type 1 plus 1 on the front end just shows you 1 plus 1. But the calculation, the one that does the calculation itself, is the back end. So on this particular note, there are different back-end technologies. The back-end programming language, we have PHP, we have Java, we have Python. All these are different back-end programming languages. But for this particular case, for this particular bootcamp, we will be working with Node.js, which is a JavaScript framework or a JavaScript type based programming language that works on the server. So when I say when I please, you don't get confused when I say server. I know this bootcamp was originally designed for beginners, and I assume everyone here is a beginner, even if you have little understanding. But I assume nobody has understanding here, so I will be teaching you from scratch, so you get to understand how this whole thing works. So I will be on this particular topic. We'll be discussing on Node.js. Node.js is going to be our preferred backend technology. So first of all, let's go by discussing the history of Node.js. Node.js was actually created in 2009 by Ryan. Let me go back. Okay. Hope you're all following. So Node.js was created in 2009 by Ryan Dahal. Previously, Dahal had created and criticized possibilities offered by existing popular web servers and common coding methods. At the time, servers struggled to handle high volume concurrent connections and codes. Okay, these are actually high definition language. These are actually high definition explanation that we beginners might not really grasp, but I will just go through it to for you to understand. I will explain everything later on. So these were all the issues that hampered the ability of business to build versatile products and engage with the meta. Okay. And please, I don't get confused here. To I'm trying to get to the point where I explain the history. So, okay, in response, DAO created Node.js to provide developers with the power to use JavaScript for server-side scripting and unifying web application development around a single programming language. The initial release of Node.js only supported Linux and Mac OS operating system. Its development and maintenance was led by DAO at first and later sponsored by Joent, a software a software and service company. In January 2010, remember it was created in 2009. That's the history of Node.js. A package manager for Node.js was introduced to make it easier for programmers to publish and share source code of Node.js packages and simply installation on installation and update. So what this particular section is actually saying was, after 2009, when DAL created Node.js, it was only running on two operating systems, which was Mac and Linux. It wasn't running on Windows. So a company now had to merge with Dahal and made a native Windows technology. Okay, this was in 2011. Microsoft and Johannes came together to develop a native Windows version of Node.js, expanding the number of operating systems it could support and give developers more options than ever. So what this is actually saying is, particularly Node.js is an open source technology. You can actually contribute to it. When I say open source, or when you hear open source as a developer, you should know that it is something every developer can come in and contribute. So Node.js is one of those technologies that are open source. So I'll take you next is Node.js architecture. That is the structure of Node.js. First, you should know is Node.js is single threaded. When I say single threaded, is what I meant is, okay. Let me just give you a brief on the structure, on the architecture of Node.js. The mechanics of Node.js are: what contributes to its popularity with developers. Whereas most alternative runtime environments utilize multi-threaded processing models, Node.js does it all in a single thread. In multi-threaded processing setups, each server has a limited thread pool it can access. So every time a server receives a request, it pulls a thread from the pool and assign it to that request to take care of processing it. In this case, the processing is synchronous and sequential, which means that one operation is performed at a time. Okay, basically what this is saying is other back-end technology has multi-threaded environment. What this threaded environment actually implies is let's say for example you want to perform an operation, you want to send, you want to perform three operations. For example, you want to buy foodstuff. Yeah, let's use foodstuff. You want to buy foodstuff. Other programming languages, that is others back-end programming languages, what they do is, let's say you have three items you want to get for foodstuff: maggi, salt, and pepper. And you have four items you want to get, but you have three people who are available to get these items. So you send Mr. A to go get maggi for you, then you send Mr. B to get salt, then you send Mr. C to go get pepper. Then there is one other item remaining, which is onion, right? You have to wait for one of those, one or either Mr. A to come back so he can go get the onion for you. But in Node.js, it doesn't work that way. Node.js, it's a single threaded environment where you have just Mr. A. Mr. A goes to get onion, goes to get pepper, goes to get, he does all these things and comes back immediately. I don't know if you understand. That is how powerful Node.js is and how simple it is to use. That's why they call it an asynchronous server-side technology. It is a technology that actually uses one single thread to perform a lot of tasks without breaking, and it does it efficiently. So okay, down to this part, it says okay, in multiple thread processing, a thread is picked out every time a request is made until all of the limited threads are used up. When this happens, the server has to wait for a busy thread to become free again. Just like when you have sent your um, three Mr. A, B, and C to go get something while you still have one other item left. You have to wait for either one of the people you sent to come back so one can go get. So this is what it's actually saying. This can make for slow and inefficient applications, which leads to knock-on effects on anything from customer experience to lead conversations. It can particularly become a problem if your application has to deal with high number of concurrent client requests. So, in software engineering, especially web development, we use the word request, client request. When we say client request, we are actually saying the front end request. Just like, for example, when you actually comment on somebody's post, you are sending a request, which is a comment that the back end has to react to. So these whole things they go together, the client and the server side. When I say client, I mean the front end, and when I say server, I mean the back end. Hope we are okay. Okay, okay, okay. Hope we are on track. Please hope you are understanding my tutoring style. If you are confused anywhere, please you can call my attention back. I would I would really appreciate that. Okay. So in Node.js, however, uses single-threaded processing. The difference between the two is, as you'd imagine, single-threaded architecture processes every request using a single main thread, utilizing event loops to run blocking, input and output operation in a non-blocking way. Don't worry if okay, yeah. Um Okay, so you shouldn't beat yourself too much if the whole idea is becoming big, the single threaded and multiple threaded. These are just software engineering terms. You will get familiar with them with time. So what this actually says is Node.js actually does uses one single thread to perform the operations of uses one single thread to perform operation that multiple thread would perform, and it does it efficiently and fast. So Node.js is actually a JavaScript type framework. You actually write Node.js with JavaScript. So you should in any way be familiar with a little bit of JavaScript to be able to write Node.js. So I'll be taking you to the part where um, why we should use Node.js, why Node.js is important, and why we should use Node.js. And please, I won't be taking too much of our time. I won't be taking too much of our time. I would go straight because, like I said, back end has to do with practical. You have to see how it works, and yeah, how it works, and yeah, understand the concept. Because unlike front end has to do with concept, but back end has to do with logic. So why should you use Node.js? Um, First of all, it is easy to learn. JavaScript is one of the most popular programming languages for front-end development, and nearly every front-end developer is familiar with this universal language. Therefore, it is much easier for developers to switch to using Node.js at the back end. It requires less effort and less time to learn and work with, even for junior JavaScript programmers. So I know most of us here gets not really comfortable learning back end because even me, when I started programming, I started with the concept, with the whole idea of back end is a difficult language to learn and all that. But as time goes on, I became comfortable and I understood that it was even easier to understand back end to an extent than front end. But it's not like front end is actually an easy language to learn to the CSS, the HTML. You can get comfortable with it. But back end is also a language you could just pick up from if you have especially Node.js. If you have knowledge of JavaScript, you can actually dive into learning um, backend development, particularly Node.js, easily. So second on our list, why you should use Node.js for your server-side language, freedom in app development. So what this says is while Ruby on Rails is a framework that imposes rules and guidelines, this Ruby on Rails is actually a framework, just like how Node.js is also a framework. So it says, while Ruby on Rails is a framework that imposes rules and guidelines for developing software in a particular way, Node.js offers more space and freedom for doing things your own way. Node.js is completely opinionated, meaning you can build everything from scratch and tailor every last detail. It can execute basic tasks but gives you only the bare minimum from a fresh install, allowing you to add features from there with less restrictions. So what this actually entails is using Node.js, unlike other programming languages. There was a time I was learning PHP. You have to learn a lot. You have to learn a lot, learn a lot of restrictions, do this and that. But with Node.js, you're comfortable. You install packages without any hassle. You get to do the things, build your application from scratch to finish, just the same, just the way you want it. But yeah, with time you get comfortable with how most of these programming languages work and how software engineering works particularly. So yes, that's that for that. Then for full stack actually entails both front end and back end. So let's see what this says. Before Node.js, the JavaScript code was only used for client-side development. It was necessary to use a different server-side programming language in practice. You had to hire separate development teams for back end and front end. With Node.js growing in popularity, full stack JavaScript became a reality. Nowadays, it is possible to write both front end and back end of web applications in JavaScript, making app development much easier and much efficient. So what this is actually saying is initially before Node.js was introduced, that is in 2009, right before the creation of Node.js, JavaScript was just the language. That is just the front end technology. But like we all know, Node.js is also a JavaScript framework. That is the same way you write your JavaScript. That is the same way you write your Node.js, but this time on the server side. So what this entails is, unlike, for example, let's say let's say you finish writing your JavaScript, just like what they said here. um, it is necessary to use different server programming language. In practice, you have to hire separate development teams for back end and front end. So after writing your front end with JavaScript, you are likely to go and hire another developer to write it for you, to write the back end with Java or Python. But with Node.js, one who has experience or understanding writing JavaScript can just continue using Node.js. So what this particularly says is Node.js is actually a full stack technology which you can actually write both on the front end and on the back end too. So active community, that is why you should use Node.js. I think Node.js has one of the most active community. One thing about software engineering is software engineering has to do with resources. When I mean resources is you would have to you would have to get informations here and there, and this is what Node.js community is always there for. You just go to Google and you type a problem, a Node.js related problem, and you'll be amazed with the amount of results that you can find. But if you do that with other programming languages, like ancient programming languages that have even been there before Node.js, you are likely to stumble and you are likely to spend more time without having any solution. But on the Node.js community, you can find a lot of resources, a lot of help, and yeah, this is one of the most important aspects of having Node.js, using Node.js. Then five, which is um, simultaneous request handling. Yeah, this has to do with the whole. This has to do with, okay, Node.js provides a non-blocking input-output system that lets you process numerous requests concurrently. Incoming requests are queued up and execute sequentially in rapid time. So basically, what this does is So basically, what this actually means is when it comes to doing the server side operation, it is actually very it has more effect using Node.js. It is easier, and with Node.js you can actually transform your application from from a small application to a very robust, scalable application. So using Node.js for your server side language, I think it is easy, and it is easy to build an application with Node.js, unlike other programming languages. And it is amazing to tell you that most of the companies we all know, like yeah, Netflix and so many other companies, Netflix, Amazon, yeah, Airbnb, all these top companies make use of Node.js. So I think it is one of those important programming server-side technologies you should be aware or acquainted with. So um, next I will be showing you how to. We'll be going on. I think the next section would be discussing on how we can start using Node.js. That is the practical side of the practical side of this section. So hope we are still here. Hope you all are following. Okay. So on the practical side of this particular section, first I would okay. Yeah, on the practical side of this thing, I hope we all know VS Code. Please, if you have VS Code installed already in your device, please can you indicate? Please, do we know what VS Code is? I assume we are all beginners here. Okay, 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 good. For people who are not familiar with what VS Code is, VS Code is actually, I think we should just go through it on Google. What are the different IDE for developers? So VS Code is one of those integrated development environments. So what it actually means is just like when you say you want to play football, if you're playing football on the pitch or on the field. So this is the environment for developers to actually write their code. So VS Code is the most popular used programming um, integrated development environment. It is where it is where developers actually write their code and execute, compile, and do the magic, do the cooking. So I assume we all have VS Code installed. If we have VS Code installed, that is that is number one. That is the first step. So the second step is installation of Node.js. So for you to actually have Node.js running on your application, for you to actually have Node.js running on your device, right? You have to install Node.js. I'll be sending you. I already have Node.js installed on my device. I already have Node.js installed on my device, but I will take you through the step of installing Node.js. First of all, when you want to install Node.js, what you do is you just come to Node.js download. I already have Node.js. I already have Node.js in my device already, so I won't be downloading it, but I'll just go through the process. Already now, I think this is version. This is version 20, and we are installing for, if you are using a Windows operating system, you can actually switch you can switch. If you're using a Mac, you can switch to Mac OS. If you're using I doubt if they have Linux available, but they should. Then Windows, all you just need to do is to download. Once you click on the download, it starts downloading Node.js. So I already have Node.js installed, so I won't be going through the process of download. It's a straightforward installation. I will be sending you resources. I will be sending you a resource where you can actually just follow a YouTube tutorial to download Node.js. So for you to actually run a Node.js application on your device, right, or actually write a Node.js script, you are supposed to have what they call Node.js and an npm package. What is an npm package? An npm package is nothing but it's like a remote interaction which you can actually use to to download packages, you know, install packages of Node.js. Okay, I know this is our first time. This is our first time in this tutorial, and probably most of us here haven't had experience with back-end development before, but there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to explore while doing back-end development, and we'll all go through it together. I know some of the technologies are foreign, and some you don't get, some you understand. But I'll tell you, the truth is, with time, all these things are easy. You would come to understand how they work. All you just need to do is just stick around, stick around. You get familiar. I could remember when I started learning programming too. Most of these things were like they were like Arabic to me. I wasn't understanding anything. But with time, I started getting what this does and what that, and it was easy because you just need to stick around. Like now, I am saying Node Package Manager, and we don't know. Most of us here don't know what Node Package Manager is. But on a simple understanding, it is just um, it is just an installer. You just use the Node Package Manager to get packages of Node.js, because Node when you start using Node.js, you will not just download Node.js and that is all. You would have to install different packages. That is why using Node.js is easy. Instead of you to have just a date, just to have to create a date function, or you want to create something that has to do with date, it's as easy as you can just download a package and that is all. You don't have to do everything from scratch. That is why using Node.js is actually important and yeah, easy. So let me go through this together. Node Package Manager, or NPM for short, does few things. Firstly, it acts as an online repository for publishing open source Node.js projects. Secondly, it is used as a command line facility for interacting with that repository, assisting with package installation, just like I said, downloading, version management, and dependency management. It is used most commonly to publish, discover, install, and develop Node programs. Especially, it helps developers to make best use of Node.js tools and packages with a useful interface. Okay, so let's assume we have our node, we have our Node.js, and we have our VS Code. So let's first of all explore how. Hope we are all following. So next, let's explore how Node.js actually works. So restart. Okay, I've already created a folder. Let me start from scratch. I have this folder here. This is a newly created folder which is empty. Hope you're all following. Hope you're all following. Please, if you're with me, please can you indicate? I would love to know that we're all on the same page. Are we here? Okay, okay. So, okay, this is it then. Um, you first of all, let me open this particular folder. You can actually create a folder from the VS Code, but it is easier to just create a folder. Then this is what the environment actually looks like. That is the VS Code environment. So let's create a new file. You can create a new file. Let's call this file. Let's create a new file. From VS Code, you can. This is where your work files will be. This section will be where your work files will be. So you can click here and let's create our first file, app.js. I was with you guys on the first that is if you were also available during the first section, which was the front end section. When you created a file, you created the first file. You created the first file with you created a file html.css with an extension HTML. But this particular part, just like we said, when you dive more into JavaScript, that's on the front end track, you get to understand how this whole extension actually works. For JavaScript, you use JS as an extension. For I think for Python, people who write Python, they use PY. So every programming language has their own styling. So, but for Node.js here, we have we have we use JS, which actually entails JavaScript. So, okay, yes. Next thing is we will have to open our terminal. Okay, one thing again you should be familiar with as a developer is you are going to be using terminal. Terminal is how do I put it? The terminal is the system IDE, that is the system development which you can actually use to interact with your application. So if you want to open your terminal on VS Code, I think I have. It's been a while. I actually used the shortcut, so it is Control Shift Escape with Control. Oh shit. Okay, I think opening the terminal on VS Code is with Control. Okay. Okay. Yes, Control. Oh, I don't really. Okay. Control. Please, we are all learning. You use Control. Yeah, this key here, I don't know what this is called. Please, if you know what this is called, you can actually tell us on the chat. You just type control, then find this part where this particular button is. That's on Windows. Same thing applies to Mac. I think Mac uses command instead of control. So this is our terminal. This is what the terminal actually looks like. Like I said, the terminal is the server side IDE where you can actually communicate with your application. So in order to validate if you have Node.js installed, what you just do is node.v. And yeah, I have Node.js installed. And if you do npm slash v, hope you can see my screen. If you do this too, this also shows you the version of Node Package Manager. And the amazing thing about installing Node.js is once you install it, it comes together with the Node Package Manager. It's not like you're installing Node separately, then installing um, Node Package Manager separately. So we want to first of all create our first Node.js application. So in order to do that, I would love to explain something else to you people. I did not put this on my document yeah on the note which I created. So there are a lot of packages. Let me take you all to the browser. If you come to if you search npm, you get to see that from this Node Package Manager, you there are lots of packages that can be installed. You understand, depending on whatever you want to use. But I want to introduce you people to Express framework. You can see search Express framework. This Express framework is actually, instead of going directly writing Node.js, and this Express framework has built it's an inbuilt system for Node.js that actually helps developers execute Node.js easily. Let me give an example. For example, let's say you bought a new car, and this car you bought, you are supposed to do you're supposed to take it to the mechanic, do some sort of fixes before you start driving it. But because of where you bought the car from, let's say, a company that is actually offering premium service. So what they do is, instead of you to be the one going to do all these things yourself, they actually help you do fix your car, fix the tire. All you just need to do is just to drive. This is what Express actually does. So if you come here and say you type Express npm on your browser, it takes you to Express. This Express is actually, let's come to this point. They say this is a Node.js module available through the npm registry. Before installing, let's come to usage. So you see, this is the quickest way to get started with Express to utilize the executable generated installable blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah. This is what I'm actually looking for. The Express philosophy is to provide small, robust tooling for HTTP server. I believed, okay, some of you or most of you were not present in the first section where they discussed about HTTP server. Okay, so HTTP server has to do with your whole internet protocol, where yeah, the server that actually your www.com and all that, what actually controls the web. That's the protocol that controls the web. So they say Express philosophy is to provide small, robust tooling for HTTP servers, making it a great solution for single-page application, website, hybrid, or public HTTP APIs. I believe, like I know this program is designed for beginners, and most of us are not familiar with some of these terminologies, especially APIs. I know with time, we'll get familiar with them. So, but let's just um, go fast on building our first Node.js application. So this is it then. If you want to install, we are going to be using Express. So how we install Express is, you come here, you can see npm I Express. What this actually does is, let me copy it. If I come to this place, I hope we are all following, because this is the important part of this section. I hope you are following. If I come to this place and click and paste it, if I paste this, what this actually does is, if you can remember, I said you have node. Node is actually the environment itself. Then the npm is actually what interacts with, just like you have your cell phone. You have your cell phone. Yes, your cell phone is there, but there is you have your network. Your network provider is what actually uses the cell phone to interact with other. It's what uses the cell phones to interact with other people. So basically, node is the cell phone, then npm is your network provider. So this npm, what it does is, it is what you would use to install, uninstall, and just do some interaction with node. So now we are about to install express. Okay, you can see that Express is installed. This won't be possible if you don't have Node installed in your device. You can see these two places where I actually check if I have Node installed. I have Node installed, which I think is one of the latest. It's almost the latest version, 20.9, and I also have npm 10.1. So now we have Express installed. To confirm if you to confirm if to confirm if Express is actually installed, you can do, I think you can do npm list to see the list of packages that we have. Okay, if you see here, we have Express as one of the packages that we have. So now that we have Node Express running on our application, let's just create a simple server. Let's create a simple server. Then you come to your documentation. That's the Node.js documentation. Um, yeah. Before we go further, okay. I think he said I should zoom my screen. I should zoom my screen. How do I manage to zoom my screen? Pop out dashboard. Um, Stop sharing. Zoom my screen. Pop out chat. Okay. Um, Zooming my screen, I doubt if it's something I can do. Okay, go to VS Code. Please, please, you guys hold on a minute. Let me speak to the manager. My screen. Okay, okay, back to where we were. So, one thing I want you to understand is, as a developer, you should be comfortable with using Google, and you should be comfortable with using the internet. Okay, this is it, because most of us will have our backgrounds and how we see things differently. I can remember vividly when I started as a programmer, I was actually feeling hardcore. I wanted to do everything with my brain. You understand? I felt like my brain was big enough But that's not how it actually works here in software engineering. Nobody is actually um, nobody's actually scoring you for using your brain. It's good you use your brain, but what they just want as a developer is for you to be able to bring out results fast. So I think one of the best ways to come up with results fast is when you sorry for the distraction. Okay, one of the best ways to okay, one of the best ways to actually um come out with result very fast is to ask Google. And they say ask Google. You'll be conversant. If you can see my other tab, it is just Google. I am always asking Google. I'm always asking people around. So I think that's one of the best ways you can actually learn these things fast and be result oriented. So now on this documentation, that's the express this thing and express package we just installed now. Remember, this is, if you can remember what they said here, the express philosophy is to provide small robust tooling for http servers, making it a solution for single page applications. So now let's go through this application and see how it works. First of all, let's copy. I think this is the usage. We'll copy this. Sure. Oh, we can. Can we see? Can you see my screen now? Is it? Yeah. Is the screen big enough? Okay. Okay. Okay, teacher. You are going very fast. Okay. Thank you for bringing my attention. Okay. I have downloaded the Node.js, but it has files. Please, are you okay? I just want to, yeah, attend to, I would attend to you who wants to download Node.js, but that will be after, please pardon me, that will be after this program, that will be after these lectures. I think that will be what we can handle on the group chat. So we have installed Node.js npm package and we want to create our first application. So this is it. We control. Oh, this is clear enough. So let me explain this to you because probably this might be foreign. So when you install a package for the first time, what you do next is you import this first line of code. What it does is it actually imports the application. It actually imports that particular package which you want to use. So for express application, this is what you actually use here. You use const express. This is a constant. It's just this is a JavaScript. This is a JavaScript way of calling variables. So you use this, right? Then this is how you just import express particularly. then you use the particular, then you call the method, then we'll now use the method for um yeah, you now use the method for other cases. Yes, places where you want to use express. So it's not rocket science. You will get familiar with it. I know it's for some of us all these things are foreign, but with time you can actually would actually understand what is happening. So this is basically a web application. This is basically how to how you can create um this is basically how you can create an express app for the first time and make it very easy. So let me make this like a port, then call it 3000. Then I would come here and say um, listing. Okay. Um, okay. I think okay. Let's create a function, a simple function here. This is Nice, how long the right for this? How am I Sorry, guys. I think I am confused somewhere. Like I said, Google is your friend, so you actually use Google. Mm, You just okay. Let's use this blog. Okay, this is what I wanted to copy. Control C. So hope you can see how it works now. This is you can call this the ports. Instead of passing ports here, you can just pass this instead. So okay, hope you are all following. So now this is we have created a simple express application. So what this actually does is we are creating a get method. I would explain this more on our next meeting. But for now, this is how a structured express application is supposed to look like. So if I come to this place, let's change this hello world to my name is Chiboy. So you see how the server side language actually interacts with the front end. So if I do this, remember to always save anytime you make changes on your code base. For example, you're writing code. Whenever you see this circle white dots here, it actually means that this file is not yet saved. So you just do Control S and the file is saved. For any changes you make, it's actually, even when you actually open a white space, it does it goes to unsafe. So you have to always save your application before you run it. And for you to run your Express server, what you need to do is use node, then you call app.js. If you do this, you can see example app listening on port 3000. That is this particular listing. That is, our server is actually running well. So now this particular um let's call this particular endpoint. I think to do that on our browser, what we need to do is, let's say we use HTTP localhost 3000, right? Then enter. Hope you can see my screen now. You can see my name is Chiboy. This is just this is this is just a server-side technology which is actually reacting on the front end. So this is just what back end actually does. It works on the server, then interacts with the front end. So for what I'm actually saying is, let's say um you want to get an information. For example, you are actually requesting for your profile picture on Facebook. If you're requesting for your profile picture on Facebook, you go to your profile, then tap on your picture. So on the server, what this application does is the front end now reacts to this particular endpoint. This particular endpoint. Let's change the endpoint name to my profile picture. My profile profile picture. I just want to give you people a clear understanding of how the server actually works with um, the front end. Now, if I should try this, I think I need to Ctrl C, Node.js. Remember, I've made changes here, right? So if I go here and do this, you see it cannot get that endpoint again because of the name has changed. So if I add the name and try it again, you see my name is Chiboy. So what this does is the front end actually sends a request to this server, then the server returns a response. So that is just basically how back end works. I think that should be done for this section. Please, does anyone have question concerning what we have treated today? Oh God, hope you were all following. Hello, are we here? Sorry guys, you just took the light. I'm in Nigerian. So, hello, are we following? Hello. Hello, are we following? Okay, okay, okay. Thank you, Eleni. Um, I think this is the end of this section, and okay. Oh, you're not understanding. Okay, please, can you drop where you're confused? Are you confused on creating the web application? Hmm. Okay, okay, okay. I get most of your confusions from the point where we started writing code. Um, I understand. So I think I would just go back a little bit more so we get a clear understanding. Okay, back to Express. So what I said is for you to actually run your Node.js, for you to actually run your Node.js application, you need packages. These packages make these things easy for you to. These packages um, make work easier for you. Just like I said, you bought a car, but after buying this car, let's say you bought a fairly used car. After buying the car, you start taking the car to mechanics to fix this and fix that. But in a situation where you're buying a car from a premium company or a company that offers premium services, they do all these things for you. So what this Express application actually does is instead of you to start writing Node.js, writing the HTTP, yeah, there are certain things that are under the hood that are really technical that I don't will not have to discuss on this particular section. You can do your research on your own, but it is easier when you use these packages. That is why we are using Express package. So using this Express package, you have boycotted a lot of things, just like taking your car to the mechanic and fixing a lot of things. So with Express package, you are actually creating a very simple web interface for your own usage, just like this particular one we created here. Understand? So what this does is okay. What this does is it actually it actually interacts with the front end tech. It actually interacts with the client side environment to return response. This app.get, there are different methods that we can use, which I would be discussing more on that on our next meeting. So, but for now, let's just be conversant with this particular simple Express application. So, I don't know where the confusion might be coming from. Lost. Everyone is lost from the practical part of it. We are following but not understanding. Okay, 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 guys. Let me take it one more time. Gloria, Bridget, please pay attention. You would understand it this time around. Okay, we have our application, right? Let me clear up these things. Yeah, hope you guys are following. I want to take you back to after installing your Node.js and after installing Node.js and your npm package. What next we need to do is to install our Express application, which we have done by we did that by doing we did that by doing um, npm install Express. This is how you install your Express application. If you do this, we have installed Express. We have Express application currently now on our device. Then next is we come to our Express documentation. That's you look through. This is the usage. If you come to this place, you can see quick start. Quick start is you install Express. These are just things showing you how to use the Express application. This is just the usage. We copied this, then paste this here. Now, this this is just technical. This is technical. What this does is it actually tells this tells you how to use the Express application on the client side, on the server side. Sorry. So we are actually using a get method. Now in programming, there are different HTTP methods that we are acquainted with. There is get, there is post, there is delete and patch. A lot of them. I would prepare a note for that. I will prepare a note for that because I get that's where the confusion is coming from. So what this does is it uses this particular port. This is a port, right? If I change this to 80, if I change this to 8,000, if I come to this place, if I come to let me do this. Remember, I said if you want to start this application, you use Node. Node is the entry point. With time, I will show you more advanced way of starting your application, so it will be easier for you. But for now, you use Node. What is wrong? You do this. This is our terminal. I am on the terminal now. So I'll type Node, then the particular file name that I want to start. That is the entry file of this application. If I should do that, it should be node app.js. By doing this, our application has started already. Though I did not put any message to show that the application has started. So if I should come to the browser and change this, that is the URL, I change it to the port number. This is a port number. That is the HTTP port number. This is what actually interacts. This is the port that actually interacts with the client side. That is the front end. I click on this and I change this to that is this particular. What we have here right now is, let's call this one home page. Let's call it home page. Save it. Control X. Let's start the application again. Node.app.js. Now our application is already running. Node.app.js. This is, if you look at what is happening here, we have a function. I know most of us here are not new with these terminologies. I am going to prepare a note for this. So on the next class or on the next meeting we have, most of these things will not be confused. I promise you, you're going to get familiar with them and you will understand these things easily. So what this does now is we are calling an HTTP request. And this HTTP request now, the endpoint, that is the route, the URL, that is the link we want to call is homepage. We call homepage. Remember, we have our port name. Homepage, we have our port name to be 8000. If I do this now, you see it changes to hello. That is the response that we want. This is the response we want. This is the response we want. Hello world is the response we actually want. So I know it's technical, but trust me, with time you're going to get it. Just understand that this is the simplest setup you can have for an Express app, for a Node.js application. This is the simplest setup you can have. So I think I know it's a bit complex, but yeah, with time we are going to get familiar with these whole things. So are we still lost? Glory and Bridget, are you, are we still lost? If you are still lost, I would have to attend to you people privately because I think we are almost, yeah, I think I just have like 4 minutes to end this section. So please, any more questions? Any more question from anyone? Hello, are we here? Hello guys, any more questions? Okay. If there are no more questions, I think this is the end of the section. I will be dropping I'll be dropping the notes for this particular. Okay, okay, go on, go on, go on. We don't have much time. Yeah, drop. Go on. I'm listening. Or better still, can you drop your question on the group? Then I'll follow up from there because I think this should be we have almost exceeded. I think I just have like 3 more minutes. Yes, you can actually. Okay, yes, and that's a very nice question. Initially, if you remember, it was 3,000, and I changed it to 8,000. It doesn't depend on. You can actually switch it to anything except maybe your device. Let's say you have. What did you say? PPT. What does PPT mean? Okay, I'll come back to you. Yeah, this port number doesn't depend on the server. You can actually switch the port number to whatever is convenient to you. Just that I think I okay, yes, yes, yes. I would yeah, I will make a PowerPoint for this and yeah, I'll drop it on the group. So this actually the server number doesn't really depend on Okay, the port number doesn't really depend on the server. You can actually switch it to whichever number you're comfortable with, but it depends on your system. You might, for example, now your computer or your device might have an application that is running on a particular port. I don't know if you understand. There are situations where your computer, you might have an application. Maybe you might have, let's say you have a Facebook application, that is the Windows version of Facebook, and probably that Facebook application might be using a port on your device. Do you get? So if it's using that port on your device, let's say it's using port 8000. So port 8000 is no longer available. So you would have to use a different port. That is just what it depends on. You only use ports that are only available. You understand? So, and it is not like you use every number. I haven't done full research on that, but there are certain numbers you can actually use, but there are more that there are plenty of it, that there are so many numbers that you can use to in order to boycott the whole port number thing, so it doesn't become a problem. So it's already 1 o'clock here in Nigeria. So please, I think this should be the end of the section. You should kindly subscribe to this channel, because you will be getting updates, and follow up with other, yeah, follow up with other posts that do come out from this Spread Tech Africa. Thank you. So I think we should continue. Okay. God bless you, Drap. God bless you so much. I think we can continue on the group. Thank you all for attending. God bless you. Please, this is the end of the section. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.